The Super Smash Bros. Series never misses a chance to make references, especially in their reveal trailers. And that makes sense. A big crossover game like this has tons of source material they can pull from, so it would be a shame to not capitalize on that history. So today, we're taking a look at Smash Bros. Reveal trailers and their references. This is part 2 of this series, and in this video, we'll tackle the back half of Smash for 3DS and Wii U's newcomers, including the DLC. If you missed part 1, be sure to check that one out too. Alright, with that, let's get started. Our next reveal trailer reveals the newcomers Lucina and Robin, and also confirms the return of veteran Captain Falcon. The title is By Book, Blade, and Crest of Flame. All 3 of these apply to Robin, but Blade and Crest of Flame also apply to Lucina and Captain Falcon, respectively. The trailer opens in Arena Ferox, though not the Smash Stage version, but instead the arena as it appears in Fire Emblem Awakening. Lucina immediately gets revealed with the tagline, Lucina wakes her blade, a wordplay on her home game, Fire Emblem Awakening, and also highlighting the importance that her sword plays in the game's events. The two fight for a bit before a couple of beams launch at Captain Falcon, and we get a hooded reveal for Robin. He then lands, removing his hood, and says it's time to tip the scales, which is one of his quotes when performing a critical attack in Awakening. Then he gets his splash screen, with Robin brings the thunder, referencing both his thunder spells and bringing an electric energy to the battle. Next we have the gameplay segment, mostly just the showcase of their moves. Robin uses Nosferatu on Palutena in one clip. Nosferatu changes types throughout the Fire Emblem series. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark. For Robin, in both Fire Emblem and Smash, Nosferatu is a dark spell, so using a dark spell against the Goddess of Light is definitely intentional. Lucina then appears, saying she'll fight at Robin's side, a nod to Lucina becoming a party member alongside Robin in Awakening. Together, the two attack Bowser, which is likely a reference to dragons being a recurring enemy in the series. Lucina then comments on Marth, the Hero King, since she disguised herself as a man named Marth during Awakening. Robin also comments about Ike, though this just refers to him also being a Fire Emblem hero. Finally, Chrom is revealed as part of Robin's final smash, and the female Robin skin is also shown, both without any additional references. Shulk's reveal trailer is up next, titled Looks Like We Don't Have a Choice, which is one of Shulk's voice clips when engaging in battle in Xenoblade Chronicles. Bowser is seen running through Gaur Plain. Shulk then readies his Monado and performs a backslash, sending Bowser flying. This is most likely a nod to battle in Xenoblade Chronicles, Shulk performing a backslash as his first attack, and Bowser representing any of the reptile-like monsters found in the game. Shulk is then revealed with the splash screen Shulk Foresees a Fight, which is a reference to his ability to see into the future. Shulk then has a vision of Marth and Link attacking him, sending him flying. This is also a nod to a battle mechanic from Xenoblade, Visions. Occasionally, the Monado will give Shulk a vision of an enemy's upcoming attack, and you can counter that attack in a number of ways. In this trailer, Shulk dodges just in time and then engages the two in battle. Link and Marth were likely chosen for this segment as two fellow swordsmen with iconic blades, and it probably helps that these two are about the same size and build as Shulk, making the fight more engaging. Shulk then flashes through some Monado arts, and we enter the gameplay segment. This generally seems to be without references, mostly just showing the arts and their impact on Shulk's moveset. Shulk then chills with Ricky for a sec, an assist trophy in the game, and also one of his party members in Xenoblade. The final smash is also shown, where he and Ricky are also joined by Dunban, another party member. In the ending stinger, a gigantic silhouette appears behind Shulk, teasing Metalface, one of Xenoblade's antagonists, as a stage boss. Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings are up next, with the trailer titled The Future King, presumably teasing how Bowser Jr. would someday succeed his father as King of the Koopas. The trailer opens in the same mountainous area that was featured in both Mega Man and Charizard and Greninja's trailers. Bowser Jr. attacks a group of characters with some moves via his clown car, and something pretty unique happens. Mario actually uses a Smash Bros. Shield, failing to absorb Bowser Jr.'s drill attack. I may be wrong, but I think in all of the reveal trailers, this is the only time that a shield bubble is actually portrayed during the CGI segments, and it looks pretty sick. Bowser Jr. is then finally formally unveiled, with the tagline, Bowser Jr. clowns the competition, clearly based on his clown car. During the gameplay segment, Bowser Jr. occasionally fights some Mario characters, but that's about it for references. Cutting back to the CGI, the fighters are on the back foot, and to make matters worse, the 7 Koopalings are finally revealed to be joining Bowser Jr. We then get a brief gameplay segment featuring the Koopalings, but again, it doesn't really have any real references. There is a small clip of all 8 of them playing around on Battlefield, which could be a nod to Junior and the Koopalings all being goofy little kids. Smash director Masahiro Sakurai stated that this video ended up costing more than they anticipated. Every model that appears in the CGI segments needs to be polished and touched up for higher resolutions, and since they included all 8 skins, this severely increased the amount of work required. After that, we have the trailer for Duck Hunt, who wasn't actually revealed in an official trailer until after the release of Smash for 3DS. So it's kinda weird that they revealed him when we already knew he was in the game. The trailer opens seemingly with a game of Duck Hunt, though Sakurai shared that this was actually just an animation that they created. A duck gets shot while another flies away, and the dog laughs at the player. He then looks over and is approached by a variety of Nintendo characters in their NES sprite forms: Mario, Bowser, Link, Donkey Kong, Pit, and Samus, of course because Duck Hunt is an NES game. After jumping into the world of 3 dimensions, the camera moves to the dog, shortly after joined by the duck, and we get Duck Hunt's splash screen. Duck Hunt takes aim, a nod to aiming the light gun in their game. The gameplay doesn't have very many references, and the only 2 we do have are incredibly minor. In one clip, Fletchling is sent out of a Pokeball, meant to be a bird friend for the duck. Likewise, Nintendogs are later seen in a clip, a dog in the reveal for the dog fighter. However, most important in this trailer is the explanation of where those reticles for Duck Hunt smash attacks come from. It's revealed that some sort of god player is actually doing the shooting using an NES zapper, the light gun peripheral used with the Duck Hunt NES game. It's never properly explained in-game, so the reveal trailer sheds some light on this. The presence of this player also explains the title for this trailer: One Dog, One Duck, One Zapper. Duck Hunt was the final base roster character in Smash 4, which means it's finally time for DLC. Unlike the base roster, none of the DLC characters received any specially animated segments in their reveals. Everything is done using in-game footage. So our first DLC character is of course Mewtwo. So Mewtwo was actually revealed in the Smash for Wii U 50 Fact Extravaganza, and while that reveal was unbelievably hype, there isn't much more to take away from it. With that surprise out of the way, the reveal trailer just jumps straight into it. Mewtwo Strikes Back, a tagline that is clearly taken from the subtitle of Pokemon the first movie. But it's also a cheeky way of referencing Mewtwo being absent from Brawl and finally returning in Smash 4. During the gameplay, Mewtwo interacts with multiple Pokemon fighters as a nod to his Pokemon origin. There's also a segment where Genesect is summoned out of a Pokeball. This segment of the 2 together was inspired by Pokemon the movie Genesect and the Legend Awakened. Both Pokemon are man-made, created by scientists, and while Mewtwo sympathizes with a group of Genesect in the movie, the lead Genesect doesn't trust him. Mewtwo also approaches Mew, which is another reference to Pokemon the first movie, where Mewtwo and Mew do battle at the climax of the film. Another clip shows Mewtwo being snuck up on by a Ness holding a Master Ball. This is of course supposed to reference the Pokemon games, where a trainer would seemingly approach Mewtwo, prepared to capture it with their Master Ball. In the final clip of the trailer, Mewtwo poses at the camera, and Pikachu does this for some reason. After this, we have Lucas, a veteran returning from Brawl. This trailer starts out with Ness getting absolutely bodied by a bunch of fighters. Right as Bowser sprints at a down Ness, seemingly to finish the job, the screen cuts to black, and Lucas shouts out, "PK Fire!" and saves the day. Sakurai has stated that the opening of this trailer is meant to reverse the roles from Brawl's Subspace Emissary. In that mode, Lucas is timid and not a great fighter, and right when he's about to be attacked, Ness steps in and saves the day. Lucas's splash screen says Lucas comes out of nowhere. He literally does come out of nowhere in this reveal trailer, but nowhere is also a reference to the Nowhere Islands, which is the setting of Mother 3. During the gameplay montage, there are a couple of moments that are meant to be recreations of events in Mother 3. First is a shot of Lucas laying on the ground, and standing above him is another Lucas wearing the Masked Man costume. This represents the final boss fight of Mother 3, where Lucas takes on the Masked Man. Lucas is seen wearing a Franklin badge, which he must wear in order to reflect the Masked Man's electric attacks. The Masked Man Lucas, meanwhile, is holding a beam sword, representing the sword he wields in the game. And then there's also a sequence of Lucas walking up to another Lucas while on Onett. This is meant to represent Lucas and Klaus, his twin brother. Way on the left is a Duck Hunt, which represents Boney, their dog. I think this is an homage to the name entry screen in Mother 3, where Lucas and Klaus walk around in a similarly designed area to Onett and are shortly joined after by Boney, who's waiting off screen. The final veteran DLC character is our boy, Roy. Honestly, this is kind of a weird trailer because not a ton happens. Sakurai himself says this doesn't have any story, and it's, quote, almost just a reveal video of Roy beating people up. It starts with a bunch of Fire Emblem characters fighting, and then Roy just kind of shows up and says, hey, me too. His splash screen says Roy seals the deal, and this one is a bit interesting. Because Roy's game was never released outside of Japan, fans have had to rely on the Japanese name and translations to refer to it. Some would refer to it as Fire Emblem Binding Blade, but some would refer to it as a more direct translation, Fire Emblem The Sword of Seals. Eventually, Nintendo would confirm the official translation as Binding Blade, but this tagline is based on the more direct translation of both Roy's game and sword. Roy then attacks Roy Koopa, a funny nod to the fact that there are now 2 characters in the game named Roy. And then we get a gameplay montage. In this shot, Roy is seen taunting next to the super spicy curry item. Back in the Melee days, Famitsu magazine held a camera mode contest where you could submit your snapshots, with the best shots being published in the magazine. The Japanese Melee website also posted these winning shots, with one being the ultimate curry, with Roy taunting next to the super spicy curry, so this shot in the trailer is a recreation of that. In another shot, Lyn comes to defend a stunned Roy. This could be a reference to Lyn and Roy's father, Eliwood, being allies in Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade, as Roy and Eliwood look quite similar. It could also be a more in-depth reference. In Blazing Blade, Eliwood can marry Lyn and ultimately give birth to Roy, so this could be a mom protecting her son type of deal, if you wanted to twist it that way. The final notable clip is 8 Roys all charging up their neutral Bs at the same time. This isn't really a reference to anything game related, but I feel like it's possibly a nod to the way people would mess around in Smash. I know I 100% have done this exact thing with multiple Roys in Melee, charging up all the way and just basking in the explosion. If you've never done that, I don't think you had a childhood. Next up is our first ever fully original DLC character, Ryu from Street Fighter. This trailer opens up with Ryu in the shadows, with lightning strikes illuminating his face. The words, "I'm looking for a challenge," are cut in, along with clips of other fighters from Smash. Ryu then charges up a Hadouken directly at the viewer. This full opening is a Smash-style recreation of the opening to Super Street Fighter II Turbo, with the fighters cutting in and the head-on Hadouken. According to Sakurai's recaps of the reveal trailers, "I'm looking for a challenge" was used in the original Street Fighter II ads in Japan. I wasn't able to find a photo or video to verify it, but I trust him on this. In the gameplay montage, Ryu performs a Shoryuken on a Mega Man, who's performing an up tilt. This reference has layers to it. So Mega Man has appeared in several fighting games, like Mega Man The Power Battle or Marvel vs. Capcom. Because both Mega Man and Ryu are Capcom characters, the developers thought it would be fun to give Mega Man his own Shoryuken as a reference, calling it the Mega Upper. When designing Mega Man in Smash, Sakurai gave Mega Man this Shoryuken type move as well. So Ryu is using Shoryuken on a character using a move that was a copy of Shoryuken. In another clip, Ryu performs both his side special and up special trying to recover, with Mario using water from Flood to stop him. While showing his recovery can be gimped, it could also be a reference to the ending of the Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter II, where Ryu is seen training against a waterfall. The trailer ends with Ryu stating,
"You must defeat my Shoryuken to stand a chance."
This is a rather infamous line that created an entire urban legend. This quote was incorrectly translated to, "You must defeat Shang Long to stand a chance." The magazine Electronic Gaming Monthly, well known for their April Fool's jokes, took this quote and created a hoax that Shang Long was actually a secret boss character that you could fight. This led many to believe Shang Long was real, not knowing it was an April Fool's prank. To this day, the Shang Long hoax is considered one of gaming's biggest hoaxes, with Capcom themselves including references to Shang Long in their own games. So of course, this quote had to make it into Ryu's reveal trailer. For the stinger of this reveal, Ryu begins a fight against a Mii dressed up as Heihachi Mishima from the Tekken series. While this is first and foremost a reveal for the Heihachi costume, it also serves as a reference to the crossover fighting game Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Next up, the big one, Cloud Strife. The opening for Cloud's reveal trailer is quite slow, with shots of a starry sky that transition into the Smash Cross Final Fantasy VII logos. Sakurai stated that this was meant to emulate the opening for Final Fantasy VII, even down to using the exact same music. I think they knew how big of a deal Cloud in Smash was, so they took great care with this trailer, resulting in it being double the length of the other DLC trailers. Glimpses of Cloud are shown before he is finally revealed with the tagline, "Cloud storms into battle." Get it? Cloud, Storm? Yeah, this definitely isn't their best work. After this, we have a funky transition, which is directly inspired by the animation that plays when entering a battle in Final Fantasy VII. Cloud is then approached by several fighters, and the camera work here definitely emulates the battle camera from the original game too. In this scene, we have Zelda holding the lipstick item next to some flower Pikmin, with Cloud seemingly knocked out. This comes from the scene where Cloud and Aerith meet, when Cloud falls into the church that's covered in flowers, with Zelda representing Aerith. Next, we see him dizzy while riding the King of Red Lions on the pirate ship stage, which comes from Cloud's motion sickness. He knocks Wario off of and steals his motorcycle next, which comes from the point of Final Fantasy VII, where he steals a motorcycle to escape the Shinra building and the chase that ensues. When Cloud performs his spellcast taunt, the Prince of Sable transforms into a frog. This references the Toad spell, a type of transforming magic that can turn an enemy into a toad. This is a recurring spell in the Final Fantasy series, including Final Fantasy VII. This segment, where Cloud faces off against Ike, is meant to represent the final battle of Cloud versus Sephiroth. Cloud even uses his final smash, Omni Slash, on Ike, which is what he uses to defeat Sephiroth in that scene. In the stinger, Cloud turns around and a bunch of small Miis are jumping around, revealing the Chocobo Mii hat. However, there's a giant Chocobo Mii sleeping as well, referencing the Fat Chocobo, a special type of summonable ally. Cloud even says it smells like chocobos, which furthers the reference, as Fat Chocobo can only be summoned in areas that smell like chocobos. The penultimate character for Smash 4 is none other than Corrin. This is the only DLC character to have an actual CGI cutscene. However, this was not made for Smash. They actually got access to the cinematic from Fire Emblem Fates, but not in horrible 3DS quality. The voice lines were also redone specifically for the reveal. This scene is the pivotal moment where Corrin decides where their loyalties lie, and it's the crux of the alternate game versions of Fates. An option window appears, and all three of these options are actually the paths possible in the different versions of Fates. Defend Hoshido is the option for Birthright, Fight with Nor is for Conquest, and Refuse to Choose a Side is for Revelation, the DLC third story. And then of course the fourth option of Join the Battle in Smash appears, and then we get the tagline, Corrin chooses to smash, which I don't really need to explain anymore. We then enter the gameplay montage, and honestly, not a ton happens. The voice actors for Ryoma, Xander, Sakura, and Elise all have voice clips that talk about Corrin's moveset in Smash, and it's cool that they recorded a bunch of new lines, but there aren't any references in what they say, though it is funny to hear them react to Big Brother becoming Big Sister. The other Fire Emblem characters show up to fight, and Corrin wonders if they are warriors from the Outrealms. The Outrealms is the name for the lands that exist outside the world of Fire Emblem Awakening and Fates, often used in side stories where other Fire Emblem characters can be encountered, like Marth or Ike. Other than that, this is a pretty simple trailer. So that leaves us with the last Smash 4 DLC fighter, Bayonetta. This trailer opens with Pit knocking out a couple of fighters and cheering. Palutena then warns Pit about a new challenger, and just before Bayonetta appears, she says,
"Oh, another angel. Must have missed one."
A reference to Bayonetta being an angel hunter in her home games. Bayonetta then appears in front of the moon, which is a staple for the Bayonetta series. All of the box art for the series shows her in front of the moon, and plenty of art does as well. The trailer then shows off some of her notable aspects, and then we get her splash screen. Bayonetta gets Wicked, a reference to the Wicked Weaves, those gigantic hand things that she has. Palutena says she thought the Umbra Witches were extinct, a reference to the lore of Bayonetta and the witch hunts. Bayonetta claps back, saying she's being especially cheeky for an endangered species, alluding to Bayonetta slaying gods in her home series. You better watch out, Palutena. Bayonetta then taunts next to a Chain Chomp, who then lunges out to attack. This is probably a reference to the Chain Chomp weapon in Bayonetta 2. Because the game was published by Nintendo for exclusive release on Wii U at the time, many Nintendo costumes and weapons were included in the game, like a Peach outfit, the Master Sword, and the Chain Chomp. Throughout the trailer, Bayonetta, Pit, and Palutena all have new voice lines recorded by the voice actors. Sakurai explained that these were fun ways to include other characters in the reveal trailers, but also served as a brief explanation for the new moves, since this was before the days of the Mr. Sakurai Presents live streams. The trailer closes out with Bayonetta stating,
"Don't mess with a witch."
This is almost a phrase she says in her home series, except there, she doesn't say mess. She says f***.
Don't f*** with a witch.
And that's it for Smash 4's newcomers. You can tell they really started to ramp up the references towards the end of the DLC, and we'll see that energy carried over more next time when we start the Smash Ultimate trailer references. Thanks everyone for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Until then, Please be sure to be good to one another.